Please be seated. Ready?
Yes, Judge.
For the record, both assistant state attorneys are present, both defense counsel and Mr. Sievers.
Your Honor, if I might just review with the court very briefly.
Sure.
Counsel showed the plea agreement waiver of rights to the state. The state has no objection to the admissibility of that and will not be objecting when it is introduced. Counsel showed to the state DNA Labs International reports. The state has indicated to counsel that the state would be objecting to the lab reports and that there would be a need to call witnesses for that. The defense showed the state, what are the documents that you showed that we, has spoken of the two documents that they intend to use with Myers-Simmons, with what they have indicated and with previous comments in terms of the modifications at the top. We have spoken of those and have no objection with the modifications we've discussed. So I think that, Your Honor, we have spent the time to try and make sure that, pardon? We also, during the period of the break, talked about Mr. Wright and his potential testimony and raised with defense any issues we would have with certain aspects of that testimony, and counsel's indicated they are not inquiring in those areas. That being the case, we would not be having objections to the area that they spoke about during the break.
So the outstanding issues then are the video at hand and the reports from Myers-Simmons.
The video at hand and the reports from DNA Labs International.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You guys agreed to the other thing. All right.
And it's the state's understanding that they were, and Mr. Mummer can correct me, that they were going to try and introduce the DNA Labs International through Kim Van Waus. The state will be objecting, and so might even ask the court before she gets on the stand if we can address that particular issue.
Who's your next witness after the lieutenant?
It's going to be Ms. Kimberly Van Waus.
Okay. And why is Ms. Simmons not available today?
She had afternoon commitments, Your Honor.
With what?
Your Honor, I don't have an answer for what, to the answer for what.
Okay. We'll find out what her commitments were. If we're close and we're going to almost be done with all the witnesses, I will expect her to be here, even if it's at the end of the day.
I hear, Your Honor.
Okay, as to this video at hand, I'm going to sustain the state's objection. Would you like that made a part of the record?
Yes,
for
Your Honor.
appellate purposes?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it's identified as number 4?
Yes, that's
Okay.
defendant's 4.
And the other one that I proffer, if you'd like that as a part of the record, you can give that to the clerk as well. That was numbered what, 1?
That was number 2.
There was an A and a B to it, right?
Yes, I believe it was a
Okay.
2A and 2A.
If you'd like to give that to the clerk for appellate purposes, you can as well. After we bring the jury back out, how long will this witness take?
This witness should be very brief.
Okay. Should we bring Ms. Van Waus in right now then?
Yes, Your Honor, I would suggest that we handle that, and when she's called, we are not approaching the bench.
Makes sense to me. You can step down, sir. We'll be with you momentarily.
Yes, Your Honor.
While he's stepping down and she's coming in, defense 1, what is what?
Defense 1 was the original marked exhibit with the
Correct, those pages.
the pages that that was never
Right.
even offered into evidence, but it was still marked. Defense 2
Was
Madam,
admitted. 2 was admitted.
The Cellbrite.
the Cellbrite. Defense 3 is going to be the plea agreement waiver of rights.
So the thumb drive is 4.
The thumb drive is 4. That's correct.
And this disc is
4A.
okay.
Okay. Here's Ms. Van Waus. Ma'am, you're still under oath from before.
put another copy
Okay,
and you
because
can
there are only
use this
2
copy.
copies.
Here you go.
This is going to be defense 5. May I approach?
Yes, sir.
Mark as defense exhibit 5. Do you recognize this?
Can I have a second to flip through?
Yep.
Yes, I recognize it.
What is that document?
This is 4 separate documents. They are 4 DNA Labs International reports.
And what is DNA Labs International?
This is a lab that we send evidence to for DNA testing.
Okay. And I think you testified earlier that FDLE limits you to 6 submissions. Is that correct?
Not submissions. They limit the number of items sent for DNA testing per each submission.
Okay. So can you explain that a little more?
So for the DNA section, I can only send 5 pieces of evidence per submission. So each set of evidence that I send to the lab, I'm limited to 5 for biology. So after those 5 items are tested, I can send another 5 items on the next submission.
Okay.
And that keeps going.
So you can send 5 items. Once they're tested, then you can send another 5.
Correct.
How long does it typically take for those 5 items to be tested?
It can take a long time. It averages, if we rush a case, if we don't rush a case, but it's taken up to 18 months to get results back.
Okay. And does DNA Labs have a limit as to how many submissions you can submit concurrently?
No, because we pay for DNA to be tested from DNA Labs International. So this is not a free service like FDLE is.
Okay. And to your knowledge, does DNA Labs use the same process to analyze your submissions as FDLE?
Objection is outside scope of this witness's knowledge as to DNA Labs processes.
If she knows, she can answer.
I don't know. You would have to ask the analyst. I'm not sure what their procedures are.
Okay. And how many times have you made submissions to DNA Labs?
Overall,
Yes.
in my career,
Yes.
a lot.
Okay. Many. And the document that I gave to you, is that a clear or fair and accurate copy of the documents you received from DNA Labs?
Yes, they are. There are photocopies of the 4 reports sent back to us from DNA Labs International.
Okay. And when you get those documents back, do you depend on them?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you depend on them? Do you
Guess
believe?
I-
Do you believe that they're accurate?
Objection is to relevancy as to her belief as to their accuracy.
Overruled.
I would assume that they're accurate. I go through them and I read them and I look to see what type of results we have, and then that bases our next decision on what we send.
Okay. And are you familiar in the way in which your submissions are processed?
Again, I don't understand the question.
Just in a general sense, if you send something off to serology, are you familiar with the type of tests that are going to be performed on your submissions?
Are you talking about YSTR, STR, minifiler, that kind of thing?
Yes.
I am aware of different tests that they do, but I'm not aware of what they did on every item.
Okay. To your knowledge, do they have a uniform process by which they process your submissions?
You would have to ask the analyst their procedures.
Okay. You said you've sent submissions off to DNA Labs many times.
Yes, I have.
Do you have any reason to believe that their procedures or the results are in any way inaccurate?
I would not assume that they're inaccurate.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to move what's been previously marked as Exhibit Number 5 for defense and as Exhibit Number 5.
There is not a foundation to admit the reports or results from DNA Lab International. We don't know what particular tests were used. There are lots of numbers attached to this, numbers that are outside the scope of understanding. of this witness, it's not admissible through this witness.
Your Honor, the test is trustworthiness, and Ms. Van Waus has testified that she has made these submissions many, many times. And Your Honor, there's no reason to believe that over the course of however many submissions that she has made, that these results this time would in any way be untrustworthy.
The objection sustained. Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
You can step down for now, ma'am. You can give that to the clerk. You want that made a part of the record?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You can bring the jury back in with the detective back on the stand, and are you still calling Ms. Van Waus or no?
Yes, yes, I
Okay.
still have additional exhibits and questions for Ms. Van Waus.
So we can go through her and then probably break for lunch. Unless it's really quick. Okay. Please be seated. I'll ask our jurors again, did you follow my instructions not talk about the case among yourselves with anybody else or look up any of the people or places involved? Even if you did so inadvertently, now would be the time to raise your hand and let me know. For the record, no jurors lifted their hand. Defense?
Yes, Your Honor, I have what's been previously marked as Defendant's Exhibit 3. I believe there is no objection from the state. Accordingly, Your Honor, I'm going to move it into evidence as Defendant's 3.
No objection.
We'll show it admitted.
And Your Honor, with that, I have nothing further for Lieutenant Downs.
State.
I have no questions, Your Honor.
The number 3 is, just so the jury knows what we've admitted.
Exhibit number 3 is the proffer agreement between the State Attorney's Office and Curtis Wainwright.
Your Honor, I believe State's Exhibit number 3 is the plea
I'm sorry.
agreement that is between the State's Attorney's Office and Curtis Wainwright, not a proffer.
Yes,
agreement.
it's the plea agreement waiver of rights.
Yes, noted for the record. Is this witness to be released or retained?
Released, Your Honor.
Released, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You're free to go.
Thanks, sir.
Next witness.
Your Honor, next witness I'd like to call Kimberly Van Waus.
You're having a problem hearing from the podium? Okay, I'll ask our attorneys to speak up. If you have another problem like that, just by all means raise your hand and let us know. You're still under oath from before, ma'am.
Yes, thank you.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Just for the for purposes of the record and to help the jury, can you please reintroduce yourself?
My name is Kimberly Van Waus.
And Ms. Van Waus, what did you do in this particular case?
It's a very broad question.
What was your role?
I was the lead crime scene technician.
Okay, and I want to go over a couple things that we didn't get to talk about the last time we spoke, and I'm showing what has been previously marked as Defendant 6. Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any who has been previously marked as Defendant's Exhibit 6, do you recognize that document?
Can I go through it really
Go
quick?
through it.
Yes, I do recognize it.
What is that document?
This is a photocopy of the document that was in the shredder.
Okay, and just so we're on the same page, does the photocopy that I showed you, does that start on stamp mark 36708?
Yes, it does.
And the next page is 36709.
Yes.
followed by 36710,
Yes.
followed by 36711,
Yes.
followed by 36712,
Yes.
followed by 36713,
Yes.
followed by 36714,
Yes.
and then 36715,
Yes.
and then 36716. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any reason to believe that any of the pages of this document have been omitted?
I don't believe so.
Okay. And who initially collected this document?
I did.
When you collected the document, did you make any changes to it?
It was taped back together.
Okay, so you taped it back together, and is this the final form of that document?
It's a photocopy of it.
Okay, is it a fair and accurate photocopy of the document you taped back together?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd like to move what has been previously marked as Defendant 6 into evidence as Defendant 6.
No objection.
We'll show it admitted.
Permission to publish, Your Honor.
You may.
Ma'am? Is this the first page of the document?
The top portion is cut off of this viewer, but yes.
Okay. And is this, does this reflect the document, the shredded document that was entered into evidences, I believe it was State 16?
I'm not sure what the number was.
I don't expect you to remember the number, but do you remember putting into evidence basically the copy of this that you pulled out of the shredder?
Well, it'd be the original of that.
The original?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And is this the kind of what we got to see from the original?
Through the clear plastic bag?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'm just gonna move this up. See the stamp right here?
Yes.
Does that indicate that this is the very next page?
You'd have to go back to the other one.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. And how do you increase the magnification?
Oh, let me see.
Okay. Did you see this document, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. This document purports to be a document from the Metropolitan Life Insurance Company, is that correct?
Yes.
And the insured purports to be Teresa A. Sievers, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And can you read where it says, "Dear Teresa A. Sievers"?
Dear Teresa A. Sievers, you made a great decision to protect your income with disability insurance from MetLife. As part of your policy, you choose the guaranteed insurability option, which gives you the right to increase your monthly benefit amount without medical underwriting. This could help ensure that your coverage keeps up with your income as it grows over the years.
Okay. So would you agree with me that policy 6482101 is disability insurance?
That's what it says in the document.
Okay, do you have any reason to believe otherwise?
I'm not very familiar with insurance documents, but that's what it says.
Okay, and the rest of this document, does it appear that anything on this page has been filled out for submission?
You only have a portion of the page shown. No, it does not appear that it was filled out.
Okay. And same thing. Does it appear that any part of this page has been filled out for submission?
Does not appear to be.
And where it says agreements, if we look down, where it says signature of proposed insured, do we see a signature?
No.
And do we see any producer information?
No, it's blank.
And then in what we call the disclosures section, has there been any signature of anyone purporting to understand any of the disclosures made by the insurance company?
There's no signature on this page.
And would you agree with me that this page is purely informational?
Yes.
And this page does it appear to have been filled out for submission?
No.
Okay. What's that? Oh, okay. What's that? Show these again to the state attorney.
Numbers?
It is a composite exhibit 7. Do you recognize those photos?
Yes, I do.
And I understand that you took thousands of photos in this case. Do you recall taking those photos?
Yes.
Okay. And are those photos a fair and accurate representation of the photographs that you took?
Yes.
Do they appear to have been altered in any way?
They're just not as clear as
Is that
my
because
photographs. They're-
okay, is that because of it's printed on matte paper instead of glossy?
That and it just doesn't look as clear and crisp.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd like to move what's been previously marked as Defendant 7 into evidence as Exhibit 7.
No objection.
Show it admitted.
Permission to publish, Your Honor?
You may.
Thank you. Can you see okay?
Yes.
Okay. Can you describe what we see in this photograph?
Can you turn it one angle counterclockwise?
Okay. I'm going to zoom in all the way out there. Good.
It was just a better angle.
Okay. Can you describe what we see in this photograph?
This is a photograph I took standing in the doorway from the laundry room into the kitchen, and it's showing a dog dish, a water container, and a hammer.
Oh, and Ms. Van Waus, do we see how the dog dish is oriented?
Crooked?
Okay. And is this a door frame right here?
Yes.
Would would you agree with me that that dog bowl or dish is protruding into the door frame?
I would say that it's within the door frame.
Okay. And this door frame, is this the threshold between the kitchen and the laundry room?
Yes.
All right. Can you tell me what you see in this photo?
This is a photograph of the laundry room. I'm standing in the just inside the doorway from the garage. So I'm standing in the laundry room slightly, and it's a picture of the floor going into the kitchen.
Okay. And these black machines here, we can't see them really well, but given this little circular drum right here, what are those?
It's the washer and dryer that's on the left side of the wall.
Okay. And we can clearly see one dog dish right here, is that correct?
It's one dog dish within the little double dog dish carrier.
Okay. And then we have the dog dish that we just looked at that is in between the door threshold.
Correct.
What do we see in this photograph?
This is a photograph I took of the front of the refrigerator.
Okay. And what is this yellow thing right here?
It's a yardstick. It's used to just place in photographs so you can see how high things are. In this case, I was showing the height of bloodstains.
And you put the yardstick there. It wasn't there when you walked in the house.
Correct.
Okay. And we can see various blood stains and blood spatter here. Is that correct?
Yes.
How high up did the blood spatter go?
I noted that the bloodstains were under 36 inches.
Okay. So under 36 inches, that would typically be below someone's waist. Is that correct?
Depends on how tall you are.
Okay. Do you know, and again, I know the picture's a little blurry, can you tell any direction from the blood spatter?
Direction of,
As far as where the fluid, where the blood was moving?
yes.
Okay. Can you kind of tell me where is the blood moving?
On the right side of the refrigerator, those stains are more circular. So, no, on the right side.
Okay.
Sorry, looking at the photo.
Oh,
These stains are more circular, so those are going pretty straight on towards the refrigerator. On the left side of the refrigerator, you cannot see it in this photograph very well. There are some linear patterns that are going from right to left.
You first went to the Sievers residence on July 29th, is that correct?
June 29th.
I'm sorry, June 29th. And on June 29th, did you take various swabs from toilet flushers?
I took a lot of swabs.
Okay.
But yes, I did swab the toilet flushers.
And did you package up the swabs?
Yes.
And did you make a submission of those swabs?
Yes.
To whom did you submit the swabs?
DNA Labs International.
Okay. On July 22nd of 2015, did you receive evidence from a white Honda Elantra?
I'd have to refer, are you talking about me collecting evidence?
Yes.
July 22nd. I'd have to refer to my notes really quick.
Okay.
I did not collect evidence on July 22nd from the Hyundai.
Okay. Did you submit evidence from a white Hyundai Elantra to DNA Labs on July 22nd?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And on July 21st, did you submit swabs from the trunk of a white Hyundai Elantra and swabs from a plastic piece in the trunk of a white Hyundai Elantra to DNA Labs?
I have to reference a different note.
Go ahead.
What's the date again?
July 21st. We're moving backwards through time.
I sent evidence on July 20th, 2015.
Okay. On July 17th of 2015, on or about that day, did you submit a pair of tan Bates boots, various, I think, 6 swabs of an interior and exterior of a silver Hyundai Elantra, a pair of Skechers shoes, a pair of tan Bates boots, a beige hat, and a known standard from Curtis Wayne Wright Jr. to DNA Labs?
They were sent on July 16th.
Okay. On July 14th, did you submit 2 wood toothpicks, swabs from a laundry room alarm panel, swabs from garage door keypad, and swabs from smudge on freezer door and kitchen?
Yes, I did.
And do you recall what the smudge on the freezer door in the kitchen was?
It was something that was out of the normal pattern that was present, so it appeared that something had made contact with the fridge and left a residue. So in the hopes of somebody accidentally hitting the fridge during the incident, we were looking for touch DNA.
Okay. On July 9th of 2015, did you submit swabs from the left hand of Teresa Sievers, swabs from the right hand of Teresa Sievers, swabs from south garage door handles, swabs from laundry tub faucet knobs, swabs from rim of laundry tub, swabs from exterior of wallet, and swabs from zipper pull of laptop case to DNA Labs?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And on July 7th, did you submit left-hand fingernail clippings from Teresa Sievers, right-hand fingernail clippings from Teresa Sievers, and a red and black handled hammer that was denoted by marker 1? Did you submit those to DNA Labs?
Yes, I did.
On July 1st, did you submit a black dress, swabs from the back of Teresa Sievers, swabs from under left-hand nails of Teresa Sievers, swabs from under right-hand nails of Teresa Sievers, swabs from the handle of the hammer by marker 1, and the standard from Teresa Sievers?
They were sent on July 2nd.
Okay. And when we say standard from Teresa Sievers, what does that mean?
In this case, it was a DNA stain card that was collected during the autopsy of Dr. Sievers.
Okay. All total, how many hammers were collected for testing from the Sievers household?
2 hammers.
Okay. One was the red and black hammer. Is that correct?
From the kitchen, yes.
Okay. And what was the other hammer?
There was a hammer found underneath the Mercedes vehicle in the garage.
Okay. Did you do any presumptive tests on that hammer?
Yes.
What presumptive tests did you do on that hammer?
I processed it for fingerprints. I swabbed it for a presumptive test with phenolphthalein.
Well, let me stop you there. What's phenolphthalein?
Phenolphthalein is a presumptive test for blood. It's a 3-step process of chemicals that are placed on a swab after swabbing the item, and a pink indication says it's a presumptive positive for blood.
Was there any pink presumptive positive for blood on that hammer?
No.
Okay. What other tests did you do?
I also swabbed it for DNA.
Okay. And when you swabbed it for DNA, I understand you don't do the DNA testing yourself. Is that correct?
Correct.
So would you have submitted that to whom?
The item would have been sent to DNA Labs International with other items sent to that lab.
Okay. The last time we were speaking, we spoke a little bit about some splash patterns in the sink. You said you noticed some splash patterns in the sink. Do you recall that?
They were on the floor.
On the floor. Did you ever collect and package those splash patterns for analysis?
I swabbed the area, and I collected that, and I packaged that.
And where did you send it?
That item was not sent out for testing.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I have no further questions.
State.
You did a very thorough processing of the crime scene, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And you collected swabs and sent them to DNA International in volume.
Yes, I did.
And none of the results that came back provided you any further information about this particular homicide, did they?
Not, the DNA did not, no.
In fact, the DNA just referenced Teresa Sievers on the hammer.
Objection, Your Honor. Will we approach?
Sir.
The objection is sustained. The jury is to disregard the answer.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Is this witness to be retained or released?
She may be released, Your Honor.
State.
Released, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. You're free to go. With that, it's basically noon. We're going to break for lunch. I'm going to ask that you all not talk about the case among yourselves with anybody else or look up any of the people or places involved. We'll have you come back at 1:30. See you then. Please be seated. Also sustain that last objection on the fact that I don't know which hammer we're talking about. It's the first I've heard of another hammer underneath a vehicle, and you said the hammer. I don't know which one you were even talking about. You have how many more witnesses? Mr. Wright, Petraeus, and Lyons, and potentially Simmons, right?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Is Mr. Wright is next?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm just asking so that I'll have him. He's here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. You expect Wright, Petraeus, and Lyons. Lyons might be long, you said. The other two are short?
I anticipate they'll be relatively short. I just have a couple questions that were outside the scope of direct.
Okay.
I can get Ms. Simmons here right after lunch. Can that work?
If you can get her.
I'm just asking counsel if I can get Ms. Simmons here right after lunch, if that would work in terms of his scheduling of witnesses.
That's between,
I wasn't,
Okay.
You looked up at me, Your Honor, and I was not addressing, I was just asking Mr. Mummer.
well, if we're going to get through the other three and have time left at the end of the day, I think we need to do Miss Simmons today. See everybody at 1:30.